Creatures of the night. It's your girl Tati. Let's talk about AEW Grand Slam Collision. Now look, I know they haven't been saying collision. Joe Moxley did say Grand Slam Collision the other day. Honestly, that's what that was. It was collision, but it did feel a little bit different. So if you had a hard time finding this on Max, the episode is actually considered to be a collision episode, so you have to go where they have the collision area, and then that's where you will see this show under as a collision episode. They had an amazing crowd that was nice and loud. If they wasn't sold out, I would honestly say they probably didn't sell out, I don't know, 10 seats or something like that. They gave us camera angles from all over the building, and it was really nice venue, and the people who were there, they seemed to just be having a really great time. Their first time over in Australia, for them to have a show like this, and they do also have another Ring of Honor taping that day as well. So I know they absolutely loved to be able to have AEW in Australia. Now, there are some things that we're going to have to talk about here. This is the first time that they're there, so this is definitely going to be a learning experience for them, because Tony Khan AEW has already confirmed they will be back next year at Australia. Here's the first thing. You start off with Takeshita teaming up with Kyle Fletcher, who comes on out there. The music is playing, so you can't really hear the cheering for Kyle, but they come on out there. Now, I'll tell you this. They probably forgot all about Kyle Fletcher when William and Kenneth came on out there, because everybody's screaming for them. Kyle Fletcher don't want to hear it. He's like, hey, I'm over here in my home country. Y'all cheering for these idiots. And they tore it up for the first match. Here's the thing. The ring is not an AEW ring. It's a smaller ring. And also a lower ring. They did not have steel steps. They had like some little thing, like I was saying on the stream, that I did earlier, that it was like a little step stool that Granny used to get the stuff at the top cabinet in the kitchen. That's what that was, instead of steel steps. Someone on the chat said that, you know, they've been talking about how AEW, I guess, didn't calculate the freight times in terms of when their equipment was going to get to Australia. And obviously, was it going to get there by the time of the show? So they end up borrowing, equipment from an independent promotion. And at first, I was like, really, did that happen? But when you're really watching the show, you can see the difference with the size of the ring, how much lower it was, and that there was no steps for them to get into the ring, which was very interesting. So they did have to work with a smaller ring, and that's something that they're used to, especially if you wrestle in the indie scenes. You're used to with smaller rings, but AEW rings are bigger. I absolutely love this match. I remember on Busted Open, Dave LaGreca, Dolph Ziggler, and them was laughing about how Kyle Fletcher's going to go to Australia and they're going to cheer him like he's the second coming of Christ. And guess what? Australia booed the fuck out of Kyle Fletcher. Y'all was sitting here criticizing this show up and down about, them in their booking, but Kyle Fletcher is a big enough heel to get his own fucking country to boo him. And it was very interesting to see. There was so many times during this match where I was just like, you know what? I don't know who's going to take the win here, but I felt like to protect the champion, if William and Kenny were going to win, that Kyle should be pinned. Australia already booed him. Don't give a fuck that he came from Australia. They might as well pin him. And instead, it was Takeshita. Kenny had pinned Takeshita, and I was very upset about it. And I was like, well, how do you protect your champion this way? I'll tell you what happens after the match. When we came back from commercial, we did have Kenny and William back there celebrating over their win, where William goes on to say he wants to go against Kyle Fletcher in a steel cage match at Revolution. And then we have Kenneth, who come on to say that he's going to basically saying to Takeshi, you think you big and bad now. Uncle Don talking about you beat me twice in 1 week. How about I have a match with you one-on-one at Revolution for the International Championship? Which I thought was a bad idea, because Takeshi been killing it as of late. I don't want to see Kenny potentially beating Takeshi right now. I like Kenny, but it's just not what I want to see right now. I don't want there to just be rushing into things. Preferably, if having that match, if they make that official, I would prefer to see Takesha actually beat Kenny in that situation. But we'll end up seeing what happened with that. Now, because this is like more of a special episode, you're not going to see like segments playing out in between matches and things like that. This is more of every match that we have planned out here. This is pretty much all you're going to see and nothing else. TBS title on the line after Mercedes Moné and Harley Cameron. And I said this before, as proud as I am of Harley, I give her flowers. I was not expecting this to be like the best match ever, but you can see if you were to go back at the first few times you saw Harley versus now, you see the absolute work she's put in, and I am so happy for her. CEO, she ends up taking the win, which we knew. We weren't even worried about it, CEO. I never doubted you for one moment, okay? She won the match. We did get a chance to see Puppet Monet in the match as well, but Mercedes stomped the puppet out and threw that shit out, okay? Tony Khan, you need to sell that damn puppet on the shop, because I know a lot of people who are willing to pay for this puppet. She is over as hell, okay? Harley's over as hell, taking the L here. The end, I didn't care for. Something about it, I didn't care for. What was Mercedes' finisher? Money Maker, something like that. I didn't care. I didn't care for the win. I like that she won. Didn't care for how it happened. Felt very lackluster that last 2-3 moves between them, and it was just like whatever. What got me upset more than anything else was that as well as Harley has done this past month or so, whatever it was, after the match, they just cut. They just cut. And nothing else. They went to a commercial. And I was like, wait a minute. I know 100% after that match, Harley Cameron must have gotten a standing ovation. They must have, they clapped for her, they cheered for her and everything. I know it. And I don't have to have been there to know that they did that for her. And AEW didn't even have the balls to play that, so that we can see how they loved Harley. Harley Cameron has worked her ass off to get to where she was right now. And although Harley had lost that match, she fucking won. She fucking won. So many people are trying to get over this way, and Harley did it. And for her to get her little moment of these people showing her love after the match, they didn't even air that. I could not even believe it. They just cut the commercial like it was nothing. But give me a moment, y'all, until we get to that main event, and I'm going to tell you about that one too. Now, after this, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, with Marina Shafir, she's over there too, to go against Switchblade, Jay White with them abs, Lord have mercy, versus Adam Copeland in the Brisbane Brawl. Well, I have tried so much to just stay on their corner, the Death Riders corner, for so long, from the very beginning, because everybody in this group, I love everybody in this group. I support them. But for me, today was finally the time where I'm just like, this is not going anywhere. But by the time the match was over, I was like, this is not going anywhere. And I don't know what the fuck we're doing here at this point. The match is okay. The match was okay. The crowd loved it. So I guess that's fine. Personally, I'm not a fan of these multi-man brawl where things can get lost in translations in terms of like the camera work and it being all my friends are just going to get involved in this. And that's what that was. It was Death Riders, the entire Death Riders, except for Pac. What happened to Pac? Pac didn't come on the trip to Australia, which he didn't make it. But it was pretty much the whole group versus Jay White and Adam Copeland. And at some point, Willie Yuta came in there and he hit Jay White with a belt 6 times in the back. And Jay White just ate those up, okay? And I'm just like, holy shit, look at Jay. Like, you used to getting a spanking or so, are you? I like that shit. Whatever. And for them to pretty much have it be the whole group versus these two guys, and then have Jon Moxley take the win by giving Adam Copeland a bulldog choke, while in the same shot, You can see in the background that Willie Yuta is Willie Yuta. Okay, that's my boy Willie Yuta. I love him. Willie Yuta is holding down Jay White with a choke himself in the background and not able to help Adam. The referee ends up going for the bell, saying, Adam, he probably dead. Let's ring the bell before we can get the ambulance out here. And that was it. What about this group that they try to make it seem like they're so invincible is what I don't understand. How is it that the Guns just came back? They're still part of Bullet Club Gold, which we already know. None of them came out. Adam Copeland has... Everybody love Adam Copeland, okay? The crowd could have came out there and beat up on Death Riders, but legally they can't do that. Where was FTR? Where the fuck was the Outrunners? The Outrunners, I seen the Outrunners in them pictures over there in Australia. Nobody came out. Whenever something's going on with Death Riders and so, it's always as if there's a numbers game where Death Riders just have more people than everyone else, which is not true. Jay White and Adam, they have friends or people who just don't like the Death Riders that could have came out there. Nobody came out there. Every match is starting to really feel like the same outcome. And even me who love the Death Riders, even me who is very much a heel myself, who really love heels, I'm just like, y'all ruining a little bit what a heel is in pro wrestling, where it's like y'all cheat all the motherfucking time. There is not a single situation where it literally can't be Moxley to just take care of business on his own. Moxley and Claudio can take care of business on their own. Like, look at these two guys. We don't need Marina. We don't need Willie Yuta. We don't need Pac. They can literally have done this on their own. To give them some kind of credibility at this point, it has always been me and the Death Riders for everything. And at this point, I don't know what's the point. Adam Copeland versus Moxley at Revolution. That's as far as they're going to get me in terms of cheering for this group. After that, I just don't know how much more I can take of Death Riders. It's the same thing over and over again. Even when they try to change it up a little bit, it ends up being the same outcome every single time. And I can see why the fans are fucking over it. Now, after Death Riders got booed out the building by the whole country, we had the Continental title on the line. Okada versus Buddy Matthews. Buddy Matthews, oh my God. He looks amazing. Amazing. They came on out there and gave us a really great match. And Buddy Matthews, I don't know if we're going to continue to see him do singles thing. Y'all know he's part of the Hounds of Hell with Julia and Brody. Why didn't Julia at least come out with Buddy? Like, what was that about? I don't know. She didn't come out there. I wish that was the case. But, they both came on out there. And I have to say, the stage that they had was beautiful. It was beautiful. I loved it. Okada came out with these laser beams or whatever that was coming down to the ground. It was so cute. Really, really great in terms of presentation for everybody on the show. I have to say, Okada and Buddy, as much as I love Okada, I feel like we have yet to really see Okada. That New Japan Okada, that Japan Okada, we have yet to see this in AEW. Maybe we saw a glimpse of it at World's End, and that's pretty much it. And today I was just like, all right, Buddy really got some really great stuff out of Okada tonight. And after what we just saw with the Death Riders, Okada goes to make sure he gonna win, to grab up on the referee, put him so close to him that he couldn't see when Okada took that leg and kicked Buddy in the nuts with it. And that was enough for him to hit him with the Rainmaker to take the win. And if the Death Riders foolishness didn't happen before this, I would take that ending and be fine with it. Because it is typical Okada. But it was just like, we kind of went through this stupid shit with the Death Riders just now. And y'all just gave us this, where it's just like, oh, in the middle of the show. I did not like it. I did not like how it ended, despite it being something typically Okada would do. I just felt like with all the fucking... Honestly, the Brisbane Brawl thing, that was not cheating. But in a way, it was just like, you give us this every fucking week. And then after this, it's like, you giving us another stupid shit that a heel would do. And I didn't really care for it. and it was what it was. I'm kind of over it. I'm really fucking over it. After this, before we go into the main event, they kind of show like some things that's supposed to be going on. It's supposed to be this international championship series on Wednesday. It's going to be Roderick Strong versus Orange Cassidy. Winner of that will go the following week against Takeshita. Winner of that match will go in advance to face Kenny Omega at Revolution. You mean to tell me that Takeshita needs to qualify to be the fucking match that he has a title of? Or it's not adding up for me. It's not adding up for me. He's the champion. People need to earn the spot to face him. But instead, y'all need to earn the spot to face fucking Kenny at Revolution. I guess Kenny is such a big household name. Now, one more thing that upsetted me before we get into the main event was that they announced some matches that was going to be on Dynamite. And here's what really got me upset. Because Tony Khan, you are not reading my emails apparently. I've been saying for so long that this company is relying too much on established stars, especially at pay-per-views. Why the fuck are we getting Powerhouse Hobbs versus Big Bill on Dynamite? When is the company going to take a chance and say, we got two young stars here that we can make into household names, and say, hey, let's take this storyline, let's make something play out of it on a weekly basis that leads to a pay-per-view match for these two young guys to get a big opportunity in their fucking careers, Tony Khan. And y'all just gonna throw it on Dynamite. I have been saying this even a couple of weeks ago. I said, look, I don't know where this storyline is going. Take it to the next pay-per-view. Give these young cats opportunities to be on pay-per-views. This is how you build the stars. Because if you take this match with these two young guys and you put them on Revolution, which is, when we go back statistically speaking, Revolution has always been one of the best pay-per-views every fucking year. But instead, Dynamite. Why? So you can put Kenny on the pay-per-view. Well, you know what, Kenny, let me leave Kenny alone. So you can put the Death Riders and them on the pay-per-view. All William, everybody that we always seen, Kaya Fletcher versus Will Ospreay for the billionth time again. So we can keep saying all these things again. Takeshita versus Kenny for the third time. But instead of giving something new to make stars out of these guys who are struggling to break through because of your horrible booking, you're going to put them on Dynamite. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. Main event. Women's title on the line. Our girl Mariah May, who just looks so good, versus Toni Storm. Toni Storm, I think everybody saw that she was going to take that win or whatever. This so far, I think I enjoyed this match better than the match that they had at All In. Toni Storm came out at first to her Rockstar Toni Storm music, then cut that out. Toni Storm music come out. She has the Australia navy blue, royal blue type color gear. Luther was there as well, looking like a bellhop. It was so cute. Everything was so cute. In terms of presentation for the show, it was great. That unfortunate ring thing, it's noticeable, but don't let that deter you from the show. They tore it up. They tore it up, okay? And they had really great chemistry with each other. I felt, my only thing was that there was too many times where they used each other moves, finisher, and obviously the other ended up kicking out. I thought that happened a little way too much for my liking. But Toni Storm ends up taking the win. With a roll up. With a motherfucking roll out. Oh my God, this is the type of shit that be pissing me off. I hate roll-ups. Roll-ups are not supposed to happen often. This is supposed to be out of an act of desperation that you go for a roll-up. And I didn't feel like with the vibe of the rest of the match that it needed to get to this point for them to be a roll-up. Toni Storm's win. She is the very first four-time AEW Women's Champion. Congratulations to Toni Storm and congratulations to Mariah May. They booed the fuck out of her. And that's what you want as a heel. You want that reaction. Even though I wish she had a better title reign, I think she did great. She might take some time off. I want her to come back I don't want to see no more Tony Storm, Mariah, nothing. I want Mariah to come back and be Mariah and nothing else, so people can love her for what people have always loved Mariah to be prior to coming to AEW. Here is what fucked it all up. Once again, they made that women's match look like a big motherfucking deal when they announced the girls in the beginning of the match and before they rang the bell and everything. And as soon as Tony Storm got the title and stood on the ropes, cut the motherfucking show. They didn't, nothing. So these two women's matches that we just had on the show, they both ended where it was just like, hurry up and cut this shit. Hurry up and cut this shit. I could not believe it. And this is what I'm saying. When I'm over here ranting about women's wrestling on the stream, you guys, sorry, sometimes I'm a little passionate about it. It's because it's like, y'all made it a big deal. Then, Tony Khan, you mean to tell me you have overtime money for when the Death Riders are doing the same shit they do every motherfucking weekend? You can let the show ride out for another 5-10 minutes so that you can give them their stupid shit. But you couldn't do it for Harley. Even when she lost, and we know that that crowd gave that girl her flowers, you couldn't do it for her. When Tony Storm just won that title for the motherfucking 4th time, y'all cut the motherfucking show like there was other things to do. I could not believe it. How quickly they just... Maybe I'm reading a little too much into it. But I'm just saying, they don't do this with other people. Which, when I say other people, I mean the men. They do not do this with other people. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to get too much into it. All I'm saying is congratulations to AEW. I think overall, there was success here. This is a learning experience for them too. They'll be back next year. I think they'll know what to do next time in terms of, equipment and all this other shit that went wrong this year. Because actually, it turned out to be great. There was, like I said, some things I wouldn't have done, but it turned out to be overall a success for AEW. So congratulations for them. Congratulations on all the winners and all the fans that got to actually sit there and watch wrestling live. I'm telling you, going to a wrestling show, watching it live is such an amazing experience. If you've never experienced it, go ahead and check it out. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I'll be back on Wednesday with Dynamite. See you guys then. Bye.